save. Maybe they got the class is so the class is so.
You don't start. You don't start. Put this thing for me. This can watch it. So guys, I'm not going to tell you.
The sound alone.
Just I can go closer. My dad is considering it. I'm not considering it for what.
So today we are going to be treating visibility properties and position properties in CSS. So remember the last time we were dealing with links and how to manipulate them. So we're going to make a full navigation link and use the position and visibility to check it out. So okay, so let's put our link in a nav. Alright, so since it's a nav bar, we are going to put it in a nav. Okay. So let's continue. Let's go to our browser and see. Okay, it's already there. So now let's manipulate it. So now visibility, it is used to determine if an object is seen by a user, or if it's visible, or if it will collapse. So let's go ahead and look at these properties one by one. We're going to start off with the hidden property. So let's open our CSS file. This should be here. Okay, this is our CSS file. So now we are going to manipulate our nav bar here, being that we've already put it in a nav bar. So we are going to manipulate it with our nav bar. So what we're going to do is we are going to come here and call our navbar property and say navbar. That's just it. Then we add the visibility property here. Say visibility, and then you're going to see all of the properties here. You have collapse, hidden, and visible. So we're going to start with collapse. The default value of an element is visible. This is the default value. So we are going to just treat hidden and collapse. So we start with hidden. All right. So what this is going to do is going to make our navbar to disappear from our web page. So if we save now and go back to our browser, you will see that our navbar has disappeared. Let's go back to our browser and see. You see, our navbar is no longer here. It has disappeared. So now let us go back and change it to visible, and then let us see if it will reappear there, and then we can go ahead with the rest. So let us go ahead and check it out. So go back to our styles, and then let's change this hidden to visible, and let's see what's up. So let's say visible, and then let's save it and go back. You see, it's back here. So now another tricky part is this collapse property and this collapse property are the same thing. In some attributes you won't notice it, but when you're working with a drop down or an arrow navbar. That's where you can use that collapse. So now let us use the collapse property and see what's up. So we go collapse, all right, and see how it's going to react. Oh, you see, it disappeared. So now in our collapse property, what it does is that this nav bar now still contains the same space as it should contain. Can you guys see this thing is here? It still contains the same space as it should. But when you use the hidden property, it will do as if that element doesn't exist at all in the DOM. So let's say hidden now. You see that this guy now, this space now will disappear. You understand? So the collapse and hidden properties are almost the same thing, but the difference between the two of them is the collapse property still contains a bit of space and is still visible in the DOM processing, but the hidden property is just like commenting it out, telling the browser that this element is not meant to exist. So let's go back to putting this to visible. All right, and let us save. So now we have treated hidden, visible, and collapse. Next position. So now of blue, no. So let us see. Can you guys see now? This is our entire div now. So now we are going to move these elements, our entire div now. So now we are going to move these elements around this place and see how we can manipulate it with the positioning properties. So let us go ahead. Let us go ahead and see how we can do that. So for us to do that now, we are going to work with this nav. We don't have anything to do with this container again. This container is the parent element and this nav is the child element of this container. So now we are going to say position. So in position, they have relative, they have absolute, and they have fixed. This is the three main positions, but these two were introduced in CSS 3, which is the earlier version of CSS. So we're going to start with absolute. What absolute does is it gives the element a position that is relative to the parent element. By default, all these elements have a relative property of position by default. So if you're going to use this absolute, it will take this navbar to the extreme edge of that div container. So assuming that this navbar now doesn't have a space and padding of here, starting here, it would have taken this guy to the extreme start of this div. You can, in relative, you can manipulate the position of that element using the top